So congratulations to Hillary and her supporters for uh, getting the job done in Pennsylvania. Woohoo! And congratulations to the Obama supporters, because certainly they did. He came on strong, campaigning, and poured tons of money in there, and definitely cut that lead down. I guess basically in half. So they did, I think, what they wanted to do. But it was a good night for Hillary, I think. It looks like the total is going to be 55-45, and I had a bet with my mom about this, and my number was that she wins 55-45, and the bet was $50, so I won, yay! And I'm going to be donating that to Hillary, so she'll be getting an extra, little bit of cash infusion into her campaign, which she desperately needs. I'm sure if you've been watching the news, you've heard that she's really strapped for cash right now. So if you're a Hillary supporter, go by there and, give her a few bucks. But I just want to talk a little bit real quick about the results and what does this mean, if anything, for the rest of the campaign. Does it really change anything? Pretty much no. I mean, she's going to keep going. If she had had a bigger lead, or could have really, done some damage to Obama's credibility about being a viable candidate still. But she didn't get a huge blowout, but it wasn't as close either, so we're about where we started. One of the things that I had really hoped for was that there would be a bigger turnout. They said it was a little bit better than 50%, so about 2 million or so. I was hoping for about 250 to 350, so she could have really cut into that popular vote lead. It looks like she'll pick up about 200,000 or so when all is said and done. So she'll, have gotten a little bit closer, but I'm still cautiously optimistic that she can end all of this with even if it's just a slight lead in the popular vote. But it's going to take some huge victories in Indiana and North Carolina, which I think she can do, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. One of the things that I wanted to just touch on real quick was, they do the exit polls. And if you saw, one of the questions they asked was, if the person you support doesn't win, will you be likely to support the other candidate? And they had done this before, but the number of the people that are Hillary supporters who say if she's not the nominee, they won't vote for Obama actually went up a bit. I mean, it went up to, I think it was 25%, which, honestly, I think the longer this goes on, the higher that number is going to get to. The surprising thing is that the people who are Obama supporters, it's lower. There's a lower number that say they won't vote for Hillary, which is surprising considering how most of them feel about her. But to me, this speaks to the fact that, I read a lot of comments, and the idea that, okay, you have your candidate who you support, and if, speaking of Hillary, she is knocked out, then you automatically come over and support him, because at the end of the day, the Democrats want to win. But I disagree with this. I think that if you were going to vote for Obama, you would already be on his side. I mean, we know at the beginning it was gushing praise everywhere you looked. He was as perfect can be, or that's how he was portrayed. Well, as time has gone on, that glam, glitz stuff has faded away, and we're now seeing the other side of him. If you weren't on his side then, why would you now go over to him when this other stuff is coming out? I think, a lot of people feel the way I feel, which is, as a Democrat, you want the party to win, but it's also about the person. I do not feel like he is qualified to be the president, and personally, there are issues with him I just don't like, and I'm not going to support him. If he is the nominee, I will either not vote or I will vote for McCain, because I want Hillary, I want a Democrat, but if he is the alternative, then I think we're better off with a Republican. I think this is a lot of what's fueling these high numbers of people that say they're not going to vote for him. When it comes to the people they are looking at, which is the working class white voters, they want to say it's about race as the only reason, which is totally unfair. Does that play any part? Yes, but I wouldn't even say that is the overwhelming part, because I think it's a class thing. I do not believe these people look at Obama and see somebody who has their interests at heart. This is why he has never been able to really carry the working class voters, who are typically the white voters. I think if you took out the race or the black vote, you wouldn't see blacks voting for him in that number, because they would want somebody that represents interests of the middle class, the underclass, and that's a significant chunk of the black population in this country. So you talk about voting against your interests. That's voting against your interests when you're voting for the candidate of the elite party. But that's what we have. And secondly, is what I mentioned one of my other clips, was that when we get to the general, this will be brought back to a issue of security and strength in protecting this nation. And if you heard some of the pundits talking today about comments that Hillary had made during the last debate, which was how she would respond to threats against Israel and the surrounding nations, and she wouldn't be afraid to retaliate with nukes. This was controversial, but it's what Americans want to hear when you're not dealing with the tree-hugging liberals. I hate to say that because I like trees, but you know what I mean. Real Americans want strength in their leader. That is something that Obama does not convey. Should he get to the general, this is what will sink him. Forget the Reverend Right stuff, the typical white person, the elitist liberal. It is being weak on terror, weak on crime, and the Republicans have already started this. They are actually planning to run an ad in North Carolina. I saw it on a site. I'll have a link to it on the side of this video if you want to check it out. But you can see this is exactly where it's going, and this is what will be his downfall should he get to the general. And you got to think that the superdelegates know this. But Hillary, like I said, she you cannot deny this woman has strength up the yin yang. This is not something they could do to her if she were the nominee. But at the end of the day, even if she were to take the majority of the remaining states, even if she were to end with a lead in the popular vote, they may still give it to him, even if they believe, as I said before, they think that he has been weakened sufficiently enough that they can't count on enough of her people turning out to get him into the White House. But again, they don't want to turn off or upset the black community. Whether they grow the balls to do it or not, I don't know, but I think they have to know if he's the nominee, we will lose in the fall. That's what it comes down to. He has too much going against him, and it's only going to get worse the more that comes out about him. We know with Hillary what we have. If we want to win, it's Hillary, but that's for the supers to decide.